Hi! A pleasant day to each and everyone, especially to our Management 1 instructor and to my beautiful and handsome classmates. Hi there, good morning. I hope everything is well and safe. By the way, we are the Group 3 and we are assigned to report about organizational structure. But before we start, may I have a minute or two of your time so that we could pray? Let's bow our heads. Our most precious and heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for guiding us and for protecting us every now and then. We offer everything to you, Lord. Bless this day. Bless our instructor. Bless our classmates and my group mates as we learn our lesson. All this we ask in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you for that. Unit 3, Organizational Structure. By the way, here are our members. Torres Mary Grace, Orculio Novi, Paguya Hani Jane, Panir Lenny Jen, Perez Via, PL Ria May, PL Jana May, Sabihon, Jaylin, Tercinio, Jonna May, Villanueva Razel Ann. And my name is Jocelyn Rodrigo. So here are our learning goals. What are mechanistic versus organic organizational structures? What are the fundamental dimensions of change? And how do managers deal with change? First, organizational structure and design. An organizational structure is a system for accomplishing and connecting the activities that occur within a work organization. People rely on structures to know what they should do, how their work supports or relies on other employees, and how these work activities fulfill the purpose of the organization itself. So, ang organizational structure is a system that outlines how certain activities are directed in order to achieve the goals of an organization. Mao ni siya ang guide sa mga tao kung unsa ilahang roles and responsibilities sa usa ka organization. So, it is usually illustrated in some sort of a chart or a diagram wherein most likely the CEO or the president sits at the top and the staff, the members are at the bottom or it's in the lower part of that in the chart. So it is very important to know what organizational structure that you need to follow to remain efficient and focused. Not having a formal structure in place may prove difficult for certain organizations. So for instance, employees may have difficulty knowing to whom they should report, and that can lead to uncertainty as to who is responsible for what in the organization. Maglisod ang tao wag identify kung asa sila mo report kung wala sila'y atarong nga organizational structure. And as we go along with the topic, you will learn how what's the type of the organization, structure, and so on and so forth. Second, organizational design. It is the process of setting up organizational structures to address the needs of an organization and account for the complexity involved in accomplishing business objectives. So, ang organizational design, muna na siya ang process sa pag-set up sa inyong organizational structure. Kung unsaon ninyo pag-address ang mga organization, ang inyong account, o unsa kadisod or unsa ang inyong mga pamaagi sa inyong pagkuan sa negosyo or sa organization itself. So, like for example, when running a restaurant, na naay mga tao nga ma-assign sa kitchen, nga sila tong kabalo magluto, na apoy mga tao who are assigned at the customer service who have who good in entertaining people and asking for, or providing superb customer service. And all these people have different abilities, but they need to work seamlessly to make the restaurant successful. So organizational design, it provides the framework of and shapes on how the group of people gets the job done. It establishes jobs, the rules and responsibilities sa mga members, sa mag-take og order, sa mag-suggest sa food or sa wine, and kung kinsa ang mag-provide sa food o mag-take sa pagkaon. And it also needs the organizational design needs to motivate the members to make sure nga mag-successful mo. Like for example, they will provide rewards and recognitions for having a good performance. In that way, the people will be motivated as well to work. And also it would help the company to maintain the balance between routine and innovation. And that would be the end of my topic. Next reporter will proceed with the organizational change.
So, organizational change is a process in which a large company or organization change its working methods or aims. For example, in order to develop and deal with a new situation or markets. And then, the organizational development, known as OD, it's referred to plan and systematic approach to improving the effectiveness of a company, government department, or any organization, one that aligns strategy, individuals, and process. Put simply, organizational development is the practice of organizations and people for positive growth. Ang organizational change kay isa pud siya ka proseso parang usa ka dakong kumpanya mabag-o sa pamaagi sa pagtrabaho para magpaglambo og maatubang ang mga bag-ong sitwasyon. Ug ang organizational development pod nga naila sa UD, kini pod siya kay nagtumong to planned and systemic paagi sa pag-uswag o paglambo sa usa ka company. Ug ang UD pod daw ni gamit og social science para paggiya sa mga proseso sa pagbag-o nga makatabang sa usa ka negosyo nga makabut pud nila ilahang mga tumong para sa kaayuhan sa mga empleyado nila.
Hello everyone, good day. I am Razelan M. Villanueva, and today I'm going to discuss about the two fundamental forms of organizational structure. There are two fundamental forms of structure to remember when designing an organization. To address these questions, we need to be familiar with the two fundamental ways of building an organization. The first one is the formal organization, is an officially defined set of relationships, responsibilities, and connections that exist across an organization. The examples of formal organization are the healthcare institution, schools, businesses, and governments and churches. The formal organization structure, the managers create a structure to manage processes and achieve the systematic and efficient utilization of resources in the organization, and also clearly spells out the job to be performed by each individual. Here are the features of formal organizational structure. It is created intentionally through the process of organizing, and the purpose of formal organization is the achievement of organizational goals, and creates a scalar chain of communication and command in the organization. The traditional organization chart, as illustrated in Exhibit 10.2, is perhaps the most common way of depicting the formal organization. The typical organization has high hierarchical form with a clearly defined roles and responsibilities. In this chart, we see that the CEO or the president is on top and followed by the VP operations and the admin, and in VP operations followed by VP sales and VP development, and the VP sales is followed by salesperson, and the VP development followed by the team leaders, and in the last part are the developers or the workers. When Justin sets of his formal organization, he will need to design the administrative responsibilities and communication structures that should function with an organizational system. And the formal systems describes how flow of information and resources should occur in an organization. To establish the formal organization, he will identify the essential functions that need to be part of the system, and he will hire people to fill these functions. He will then need to help employees learn their functions and how these functions should be related to one another. And the second fundamental forms of structure is the informal organization. It is referred to as an invisible network of interpersonal relationships that shape how people actually connect with one another to carry out their activities. And the examples of informal organizations are clubs or social networks. The informal organization is a set of social relationships, communities, networks, etc. The employees remain motivated as there is positive work environment, and it will provide incentives and promotions. And the individuals interact with each other and develop social and friendly groups within the organization. And the features of informal organizational structure is automatically created without any intentional effort of managers, and it is formed by the employees to achieve psychological satisfaction, and does not follow any fixed path of flow of authority or communication. The informal organization is emergent, meaning that it is formed through the common conversations and relationships that often naturally occur as people interact with one another in their day-to-day relationships. And it is usually complex, impossible to control, and has the potential to significantly influence our organization's success.
Some members are more central than others, and the strength of relationship may vary between any two pairs of group of individuals. Current relationship involved and the organization itself changes over time. The informal organization is just in design well from people begin interacting with one another to accomplish their work. As this occurs, people will begin connecting with one another as they make sense of their new roles and relationship. Usually, the informal organization closely mirrors the formal organization, but often it's different. People quickly learn who the key employees are within the system, and they will begin to rely on this individual to accomplish the work of the organization. The informal organization can also either help or hinder our organization overall success. In sum, the formal organization explains how an organization should function, while the informal organization is how the organization will come as Justin hires and assigns people to different roles. He can influence the shape of the informal organization by giving people opportunities to build relationships as they work together. Both types of structure shape the patterns of influence, administration, and leadership that may occur through an organizational system. Ang isang informal na organisasyon ay isang network ng mga personal at manlipunang relasyon. Ang mga taong nagtatrabaho sa informal na organisasyon ay regular na nagkikita at nagkikipag-ugnayan Magkasama sila na nagtatrabaho, naglalakbay at kumakain. So makatuwid, sila ay nagiging mabuting kaibigan at kasama. Mayroong maraming mga grupo ng mga kaibigan ng isang formal na organisasyon. Ang mga grupong ito ay tinatawag na informal na organisasyon. Ang isang informal na organisasyon ay walang sariling mga tuntunin at regulasyon. So, wala silang sistema o koordinasyon at otoridad. Wala itong anumang superior-subordinate na relasyon o anumang particular na mahusay na tinutukoy ng mga layunin. Dito, sa informal na organisasyon, ang komunikasyon ay ginagawa sa pamamagitan ng uwasan. Example ng informal na organization ay ang construction worker. Pwede rin yung street food, and group of co-workers.
Hello everyone, I am Mary Grace Taras. I am here to report about the types of formal organizational structure. So, the first type of formal organizational structure is bureaucracy. What is bureaucracy? Bureaucracy. One of the most common frameworks for thinking about these issues is called the bureaucratic model. It was developed by Max Weber, a 19th century sociologist. Weber's central assumption was that organization will find efficiencies when they divide duties of labor. Allow people to specialize and create structure for coordinating their differentiated efforts, usually within a hierarchy of responsibility. He proposed 5 elements of bureaucracy that serve as a foundation for determining an appropriate structure. Specialization, command and control, span of control, centralization, and formalization are the 5 elements of bureaucracy. Ang bureaucracy ay na-develop ng isang sociologist na si Max Weber. Para sa kanya, mas mapapadali at mapapagaan ang mga gawain kung ito'y hahatiin. Ang paghati-hati ng trabaho ay nakabatay sa kakayanan, iba't ibang uri ng pagsisikap batay sa hierarkiya ng kanilang responsibilidad. So let's tackle about the 5 elements of bureaucracy. Let's go! So the first one is specialization. The degree to which people are organized into subunits according to their expertise is referred to as specialization. For example, human resources, finance, marketing, or manufacturing. It may also include specialization within those functions. For instance, people who work in a manufacturing facility may be well-versed in every part of manufacturing process, or they may be organized into specialty units that focus on different parts of manufacturing process, such as procurement, material preparation, assembly, quality control, and the like. From the word itself, specialization, kayo ay hinati-hati batay sa iyong kakayanan o spesyalidad. Halimbawa na lamang, ikaw ay isang taong magaling maghanap ng materyales na matitibay at mura. Pwede kang ilagay sa material preparation. O kung ikaw ay taong mahilig makipaghalubilo sa iba o magaling makipag-usap, pwede kang gawing salesperson o spokesperson ng isang organisasyon. Ang specialization, ito ay paghati-hati ng trabaho base sa iyong kakayanan. Next one is command and control. The next element to consider is reporting and oversight structure of the organization. Command and control refers to the way in which people report to one another or connect to coordinate their efforts in accomplishing the work of the organization. Ito ang pinaka-importante sa isang organisasyon. Kinakailangan ang bawat membro ng isang organisasyon ay may pagkakaisa o koneksyon sa bawat isa. Halimbawa, sa inyong gusali ay may butas na tubo nang siyang naging sanhi ng pagkabasa ng sahig. kinakailangan itong iulat sa iyong kasamahan o sa kataas-taasang membro ng inyong organisasyon upang makontrol ang pangyayari. Ito ay magiging malaking problema at makakaapekto sa inyong organisasyon, kaya upang mapagtuunan ito ng pansin at makontrol ang pangyayari, span of control. Another question addresses the scope of the work that any one person in the organization will be accountable for, referred to as span of control. For instance, top-level leaders are usually responsible for all the works of their subordinates. Mid-level leaders are responsible for a narrower set of responsibilities. And ground-level employees usually perform very specific tasks. Each manager in a hierarchy works within a span of control of another manager at the level of the organization. Ang ibig sabihin, ang bawat level o posisyon sa isang organisasyon ay may iba't ibang responsibilidad. Halimbawa, ang presidente ng isang organisasyon ay responsibilidad na pamahalaan ang vice-presidente sa isang organisasyon. Ang vice-presidente naman ay may responsibilidad na pamahalaan ang mga team leaders o mas nakakababa nito. Ang team leaders naman ay namamahala sa mga employee o membro ng isang organisasyon. Ginagawa ng mga employee o member ng isang organisasyon ang mga inuutos ng nakakataas sa kanila. Ang bawat leader ay may responsibilidad na akuin. Ang bawat posisyon o leader ay may pananagutan sa kanilang nasasakupan. Centralization. The next element to consider is how to manage the flows of resources and information in an organization, or its centralization. A highly centralized organization concentrates resources in only one or very few locations, or only few individuals are authorized to make decisions about the use of resources. In contrast, a diffuse organization distributes resources more broadly throughout an organizational system, along with the authority to make decisions about how to use those resources. Ang centralization ay ang pamamaraan ng pamamahala ng mga otoridad ng organisasyon. Ito ay ang pagpapamahala nila sa daloy ng resources at impormasyon. Ang halimbawa nito ay ang Apple Company. Bakit nga ba? Ang Apple Company ay isa sa sentralisado dahil pili lamang ang suppliers nito. Hindi lang yon. Ang CEO o nakakataas lamang na posisyon ang pwedeng magdesisyon para sa organisasyon o kumpanya. Kabaliktaran nito ay ang diffuse organization. Ano nga ba ang diffuse organization? Ang diffuse organization ay may malayang daloy ng produkto, di katulad ng sentralisadong organisasyon. Ang halimbawa nito ay Amazon. Bakit nga ba? Ang Amazon ay isa sa online shopping center. Napabilang ito sa diffuse dahil malayang nakakabili o malaya ang daloy ng produkto. Hindi katulad ng Apple Company, ang kanilang desisyon ay maaring mabago depende sa kanilang feedback. Kahit sila hindi sentralisado, isa pa rin sila sa tanyag at kilalang online shopping center. Formalization. The last element of bureaucracy, formalization, refers to the degree of definition in the rules that exist throughout an organization. A highly formalized system, example, the military has a very defined organization, a tightly structured system in which all of the jobs, responsibilities, and accountability structures are very clearly understood. In contrast, a loosely structured system, example, a small, volunteer, non-profit, relies heavily on the emergent relationship of informal organization. Isa sa pinaka-importante sa formal na organisasyon ay ang seguridad. Naging importante ito upang mapagtuunan ang kaligtasan ng produkto at miyembro ng isang organisasyon. Halimbawa, Bangko Sentral. Pinakaimportante ang seguridad sa Bangko Sentral dahil naglalaman ito ng pera. Kinakailangan ng security o guard upang mabigyan ng kaligtasan ang laman ng Bangko Sentral at ang mga empleyado nito. Matatawag na informal ang isang organisasyon kung wala itong seguridad. Halimbawa, mga non-profit organization. Ang pinakamagandang halimbawa nito ay isang football team, na kung saan ito ay samahan ng mga football player na ang layunin ay ang maglaro. Wala itong seguridad. Di katulad ng formal na organisasyon. Ang kaibahan nilang dalawa, ang formal na organisasyon ay may plano o kumpletong dokumento, di katulad ng informal organization.
Good morning, Mom. Good morning, everyone. I'm Honey Jane Paguya. My topic for today is mechanistic and organic structure. Using the principles of bureaucratic outlined above, manager like Justine have experimented with many different structures as way to shape the formal organization and potential to capture some of the advantage of the informal organization. So, naay naka-invento aning mechanistic and organic structure. Mga manager nga parehas ni Justine bago nila napanganlan, daghan pa kayo sila og proseso nga giagihan. Na-experiment pa sila og maayo. Ug lain-lain ni structures. Hangtod sa na-eksperimentohan nila ang formal organization nga same lang siya og advantage sa informal organization. The application of this principle leads to some combination of the two kinds of structures that can be seen as anchors on a continuum. The application of these principles naka-combine sila og duha ka structures, the mechanistic structures and the organic structures. Then, the elements of organization structures and the relationship to mechanistic and organic structures. A mechanistic is highly formalized siya, din ang organic is low. Ang ilahang relationship is standardization. Din ang mechanistic is high or narrow, ang organic is low or broad. Ang ilahang relationship is specialization. Din ang mechanistic is centralized, ang organic is decentralized. Ang ilang relationship is centralization, while ang functional o sa mechanistic din ang organic is divisional, ang ilang relationship is departmentalization. On one end of the continuum is mechanistic bureaucratic structures. This is a strongly hierarchical form of organizing that is designed to generate a high degree of standardization and control. Mechanistic organic are often characterized by a highly vertical organizational structure or a tall structure due to the presence of many levels of management. Ang mechanistic is a bureaucratic structures in strongly hierarchical form of organization siya. It means hierarchical means, for example, ang company na siya 10 employees, then ang 10 employees divided into 2 groups, then ang each groups mag-report sa ilahang manager, then ang ilahang manager mo report sad sa ilahang chief executive officer. So ang sa company is na siya multiple levels, so kinahanglan taas ang structure tungod kay daghan siya og level sa management. A mechanistic structure tends to dictate rules, procedure through strong routines and standard operating practices. A mechanistic structure is naa siya gisunod nga rules o procedure. That's all. Thank you.
Such they can adapt quickly to changing circumstances. In an organic organization, It is common to see a horizontal organizational structure, in which many individuals across the whole system are empowered to make organizational decisions. An organization with a horizontal structure is also known as a flat organizational because it is organizational hierarchy. The principle of bureaucracy outlined earlier can be applied in different ways, depending on the context of the organization and the manager's objectives. To create a structure that have features of either mechanistic organic structure. For example, the degree of specialization required in an organization depends both on the complexity of the activities the organization needs to account for and on the scale of the organization. So it means kinahanglan jud siya og isa ka organization para dali malugi ang inyong kumpanya. A more organic organization may encourage employees to be both specialists and generalists so that they are more aware of opportunities for innovation within a system. Para daw mahikayat ang ubang empleyado para sa pagbago sa ilang sistema. A mechanistic organization may emphasize a strong degree of specialization that essential procedures of practice are carried out with consistency and precision. Para sa malakas na antas upang ang mahalagang pamamaraan o kasanayan. This an organization's overall objective drive how specialization should be viewed. For example, an organization that produce innovation needs to be more organic, while an organization that seeks reliability needs to more mechanistic. So, kinahanglan gid siya mangita og isa ka organization para mao ang asahan sa isa.
Good day everyone, I'm Bea Perez. I'm going to report this slide 53 to slide 59. It's all about the command and control, span of control, and centralization. Similarly, the need for a strong environment varies by the circumstances of each organization. An organization that has a strong command and control system usually requires a vertical, tall organizational administrative structure. So, ang kinahanglan daw sa strong environment is nagadepende sa kalagayan or situation sa isa ka organization nga taas og command and control is ang ilahang gikinahanglan gamiton is tall organization or what we call narrow span of control. Ang narrow span of control man gyud is gamay lang nga employee ang ginamanage sa supervisor unlike sa wide span. Maong tas iyahang command and control kaya ang mga employee is daghan sila trabahoon, daghan og meetings, so which is hassle. Ang pinakanindot lang as an employee is daghan kag matun-an or daghan kag ma-experience og mas damor pa nimo masabtan ang imuhang ginatrabaho, and kung ikaw isa ka manager is dako pud siya impact sa imong organization. Siya impact sa imong organization as a manager kay kung nakay lakon is nana kay masaligan, nana may experience ang imong employees or kabalo na pud sila mo handle. Span of control naman or ang flat is daghan sila employees ug ang manager ra pud permi ang magdesisyon, which is dali ra kaayo pero wala kay sila communication sa mga employees. Ever puhon maging manager na ka, kung magpadagan ka sa imong organization is depende na unsa mong gamiton, ang narrow ba or ang wide span of control. The span of control assigned to any specific manager is commonly used to encourage either mechanistic or organic bureaucracy. Any manager's ability to attend to responsibilities has limits. The amount of work anyone can accomplish is finite. Span of control is kung unsa kadaghanon ng employees nga i-control sa manager, but nagadepende po siya kung unsa nga klase nga trabaho. Or kung lisod man ang trabaho is kailangan yun niya daghan nga employees, pero kung dili ra gamay ra po diha ka basig malugi. The next one is centralization. Centralization addresses assumptions that how an organization can best achieve efficiencies in its operations. Using centralized way is naa siya kakayahan nga i-improve ang isa ka organization as a whole, dili lang nga isa lang ka branch. Example is ang kanang McDonald's, that the exact same number of pickles is put on each burger no matter where you are in the world. So, kana nga sentence is nagpakita siya nga na siya standardization. Sa centralized way is kung unsa iyang brand, mura jud. Pero ang nakaapan lang is kung napailain nga ideas ang uban is dili na ma-improve. So, depende po sa kung magamit ba kag centralize.
Manager also have discretion in how tightly they choose to define the formal roles and responsibilities of individuals within an organization. Managers who want to encourage organic bureaucracy will resist the idea of writing out and tightly defining roles and responsibilities. Dapat daw, bilang isang tagapagpamahala, dapat piliing tukuyin ang mga formal na tungkulin at responsibilidad ng individual. Ang manager gustong hikayatin ang ideya ng pagsulat at pagtukoy sa tungkulin at responsibilidad. They will encourage and empower employees to self-organize and define for themselves the roles they wish to fill. In contrast, manager who wish to encourage more mechanistic bureaucracy will use tools such as standard operating procedure or writing policies to set expectation and exercise clear controls around those expectation for employees. Hikayatin at bigyang kapangyarihan ang mga empleyado na maging maayos ang sarili at tukuyin ang kanilang pamamaraan o pagpapatakbo. When a bureaucratic structures works well, an organization achieve an appropriate balance across all of these considerations. Employees specialize in and become highly advanced in their ability to perform sacrifice function while also attending to broader organization needs. They receive sufficient guidance from managers to stay aligned with overall organizational goals. Kapag daw ang empleyado ay nagdadalubhasa at nagiging advance sa kanilang kakayahan, magiging maayos ang bureaucracy. The span of control given to any one manager encourage them to provide appropriate oversight while also relying on employees to do their parts. The resource and decision making necessary to accomplish the goals of the organization are if managed. There is an appropriate balance between a compliance with formal policy and innovative action. Ang mga manager ay hinahingkayat silang magbigay ng napangangasiwa habang umaasa din ang mga empleyado sa kanilang bahagi. Functional structure. Aside from the consideration outlined above, organization will often set structure according to the functional needs of the organization. A functional needs refer to a feature of the organization or its environment that is necessary for organizational success. Ang isang functional ay tumutukoy sa isang katangian ng organisasyon o kapaligiran para sa tagumpay na organisasyon.
A functional structure is designed to address these organization needs. These are two common examples of functional structures and illustrated here. Ang isang fractional na istruktura ay idinisenyo upang matugunan ang mga pangangailangan ng organisasyon. Mayroong dalawang karaniwang halimbawa ng mga fractional na istruktura na inilalarawan ito. Product structures exist where the business organizes its employees according to the product lines or lines of business. For example, employees in a car company might be organized according to the model of the vehicle that they help to support or produce. Umiiral ang mga istruktura ng produkto kung saan inaayos ang negosyo ang mga empleyado nito ayon sa mga linya ng produkto o linya ng negosyo. Halimbawa, maaaring ayusin ang mga empleyado sa isang kumpanya ng kotse ayon sa modelo ng sasakyan na itinutulungan nilang suportahan o gawin. Employees in a consulting firm might be organized around a particular kind of practice that they work in or support. Where a fractional structure exists, employees become highly attached to their own line or business or their own product. Ang mga empleyado sa isang consulting firm ay maaaring ayusin sa isang partikular na uri ng pagsasanay na kanilang pinagtatrabahuan o sinusuportahan. Kung saan umiiral ang isang functional na istruktura, ang mga empleyado ay lubos na aanayon sa kanilang sarili, linya ng negosyo o sa kanilang sariling produkto. Geographic structures exist where organizations are set up to deliver a range of products within a geographic area or region. Here the business is set up based on a territory or region. Managers of a particular unit oversee all of the operations of the business for that geographical area. Umiiral ang mga geograpikong istruktura kung saan nakaset up ang mga organisasyon upang mahatid ng hanay ng mga produkto sa loob ng isang geograpikong lugar o rehiyon. Dito nakaset up ang negosyo batay sa isang teritoryo o rehiyon. Ang mga tagapamahalaan ng isang partikular na unit ay nangangasiwa sa lahat ng pagpapatakbo ng negosyo para sa geographical na lugar na iyon. In either functional structure, the manager will oversee all the activities that correspond to that function. Marketing, manufacturing, delivery, client support systems, and so forth. In some ways, a functional structure is like a smaller version of the larger organization, a smaller version of the bureaucracy. Sa alinman sa functional structure na istruktura, ang manager ang mangangasiwa sa lahat ng aktibidad na tumutugma sa function na iyon. Marketing, manufacturing, delivery, client support system, at iba pa. Sa ilang mga paraan, ang isang functional na istruktura ay tulad ng isang mas maliit na serbisyon ng mas malaking organisasyon. Isang mas maliit na serbisyo ng burokrasya.
They exist within the larger organizations. One common weakness of a bureaucratic structure is that people can become as focused on their own part of the organization that they fail to understand or connect with the broader organizational activities. In the extreme, bureaucracy separates and alienates workers from one another. These problems can occur with different parts of an organization fail to communicate effectively with one another. Organizations set up a matrix structure to minimize the potential for these problems. A matrix structure describes an organization that has multiple reporting lines of authority. For example, an employee who specializes in a particular product might have both the functional reporting line and geographical reporting line. This employee has accountability in both directions. The functional responsibility has to do with her specialty as it correlates with the strategy of the company as a whole. However, her geographic accountability is to the manager who is responsible for the region of part of the organization in which she is currently working.